I have a truly special guest today, the great James Patterson, definitely the number one storyteller of our time. He is, I can't even count how many books have you written so
I don't
far?
know. I can't count them.
You can't count it. And how many I can't count the billions you've made. You are prolific. Your new book is The Invisible Woman.
And good too. Quality, not just prolific, but yeah.
Good stuff. The Invisible Woman, it came out a couple of days ago, and your podcast is Hungry Dogs. Congratulations on the new book. It's 2 days into it. Do we know that it's a number one Times bestseller yet?
It's doing well. I don't know. It's a little different because it's a mystery, but it's comedic. The whole notion of the Invisible Woman, you know this probably not too well because you're a good-looking guy, but as we get older, you go through life, especially women feel this, and they feel like they're invisible, like people are looking. And that's the case with this woman, Eleanor Gilbert. And she just gets this sense. She was in the FBI. She got thrown out unfairly. And she just feels like everywhere she goes, people are just looking right through her. And because of that, the FBI brings her in because they think she'll be perfect for this particular job because nobody notices her. And I think a lot of people can identify with it. It's pretty comedic. And so that's fun for me.
And she infiltrates a family. He's an art dealer, and they think he's connected with the mob.
Right. Yes. So anyway, so it's good, and people don't like my stuff. They'll like it, and if they like a little more comedy, I think they'll like that too.
Your stuff is hard to define because it goes in so many directions, all equally excellent. I mean, from nonfiction to fiction, to series, to individual characters, collaborations. We've collaborated with Dolly Parton, with Michael Crichton, with Bill Clinton. You got one coming up with Viola Davis.
The Viola Davis is going to be, that's March, and that, Donnie, that's a real novel. I mean, I do the thrillers and the mysteries and a lot. That one it's.
What do you say when you say a real novel?
It's not a thriller. It's not a mystery. It's just, like, not to compare it literally, but with, oh shit, I'm blanking. But it's a great premise, and Viola's great to work with. She's intense.
How does that start? I'm really dear friends with Harlan Coben. He just did one with Reese Witherspoon, and I asked him how they got together, and he said she called me, and they sat down with a legal pad and they started. Give me the embryology of how
it's been
different
for all of them. With Viola, I had this idea for a novel set in the South in Alabama. 13-year-old girl is raped. There's a big trial in this small black county in Alabama, and I just thought it would be a great story. I thought of Morgan Freeman, and then I thought of Viola, and I just contacted her, and she said, yeah, I'm in. She loved this. Interestingly, I mean, one of the things she said is, Jim, you would think that that I get all these great parts brought to me, and she said, I don't. And she said, this is one. So she wants to do the movie. We're negotiating right now. A lot of people jumped at the movie.
So Viola Davis doesn't great. That's like the most beautiful woman. She says, "I don't get a date on a Saturday night."
I know. But you'll hear that from a lot of them. I mean, they'll say, "Yeah, they want me to do a superhero movie or something," but I don't really, But in terms of, but it's a really, and I'm really proud of it. To Kill a Mockingbird is what I was going to say earlier, and not to say that it's as good as that, but it has that kind of feel to it. Deep South, very dramatic trial. And I'm really proud. You never know. You hope that all the books are going to turn out and be great, and they don't turn out that way all the time. It's like when you make a movie or a commercial, as we used to do.
Yes.
You hope that all turn out, but they don't necessarily turn out great. This one turned out great.
For our audience that doesn't know, because James Patterson had a previous life many, many moons ago as a creative director at J. Walter Thompson, a fellow ad guy. And you collaborated on Invisible Woman.
I was in advertising, but I've been clean for 30 years now. So,
I've been clean for about 20. It was a different unit. It's such a different business today. It is. You and I would not have survived. Because
no, I wouldn't.
Creativity
it's too mechanical. Yeah. Too many. Here's the way it has to be. It's all about. My thing is always looking through the front window in terms of what's next, and that thing looks through the back window. What happened yesterday?
I always used to say that the problem with research and advertising, you're just asking people to spit back what they already know. By definition, there's no way 12 people in a room are going to tell you something that hasn't happened yet. It doesn't work that way. Steve Jobs used to say, I tell them what they want. I don't wait for them to tell me what they want. Now, you're collaborating with Invisible Woman as a former ad person also, right?
Yes, she and her husband worked for me, Richard, and one of her sons works for me out in LA. So I'm sort of supporting the Delalo family. No, they're all terrific. They're all interesting. And Susan is hilarious. She's a very, very funny person. So it was a lot of fun to do. All the collaborations have been fun, to be honest with you. The Clinton stuff. Clinton and I become, kind of buddies. We exchange Christmas and birthday presents. He gave me a couple of years ago a humidor, and he knows I don't smoke. So I called him up. I said, Bill, you know I don't smoke. So should I put bubble gum or chocolate cigars in here? He said, oh, bubble gum, because he said at our age, you got to take care of your teeth and stuff, So. But it's a lot of fun. The Dolly thing, Dolly's a really good friend now, so it's good.
What is that? Take me through the process of, let's say, Dolly Parton as an example, the collaboration there.
They're all different. They're all different. With Dolly, I originally thought we might do a kids book together because she's got that imagination library, and I did have an idea for an adult novel. But I went down to Nashville. I went to Vanderbilt, so I like Nashville anyway, and she and I spent a couple of hours together, and we hit it off really well. She's very funny. She's very smart. Very smart.
Most really successful entertainers are really smart, or they wouldn't get where they are.
And she's quick.
The really big ones.
She would have been a great advertising. She's really fast with the language. And she said at one point when we got together the first time, she said, Jimmy James, you call me Jimmy James. She said, I've written, thousands and thousands of country songs. She said, I could write one standing on my head right now. Want to see? I thought it was a funny idea,
Now, with all your collaborations, there's one punk you've collaborated with. I want to hear about that my old buddy Lupica. How's it working with that punk?
Mike? Yeah. I know Mike is probably my best friend.
He's great. I love him.
Mike and I talk 4 or 5 times a day.
No shit.
And yes, we see each other. We play golf together a couple times a month. And we're really pals, and I love the books that we've done together. All of them, they're terrific. We're just finishing one, and then at some point, I just got the rights to do the James Bond books if I want to. So Mike I don't know if we'll work on that, maybe. But it's been it's just a terrific, fun relationship. We love the books that we did. We did one. It's going to come out this year called Country Road Murders. Originally, it's called 109, which might have been a better one. It's about this guy. He's the best athlete ever to come out of North Carolina, and he'd been clocked in high school throwing 109-mile-an-hour fastball. The biggest in the majors around 107,
106 and a half,
something like that.
Chapman.
And something happened. He actually plays football at University of North Carolina. He wins the Heisman. He has this big contract coming, and something happens to him, and he has to go back to his hometown. And it's a really cool story. We sold it to Bad Robot, J.J. Abrams. So they're developing. Anyway, but we have a lot of fun together. We really do. We hit it off. We go out and we tour together. We're going to tour for the Country Road Murders, and we do it just because we have so much fun out there. What we do, we're going to do one in Palm Beach in January, later in Palm Beach, but we'll come out about 10 minutes early, and we'll say, Jim and Mike are going to be out in about 10 minutes. We're the warm-up guys. And we say, listen, they think they're funny, but they're really not friggin' funny. So we tell them a joke, we get them laughing, and they don't expect it. And then they realize that it's not going to be one of those dry literary things where somebody's going to read from the book, which is unbelievably boring. And, we have a lot of fun with it. And it's a great friendship. That's the most important thing to me.
Speaking of collaborations, there's one you have coming up, I think, in about 6 months that my head spun in circles. Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck? Tell me about that.
There's an agent who I just actually hired as my agent because my agent died recently. Wonderful, Bob Barnett. Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. No, I know the name. Very, very well,
unbelievable.
very
Yeah.
well
I mean,
regarded. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just a sweetheart. His memorial.
He was out of DC. He was out of DC, right? Was he out of DC?
In DC, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
900 people showed up. It was the most. The Clintons were there. The Bidens were there. The head of Fox was there. The head of CNN was there. All people that didn't have to go, and it was just so emotional. And at any rate, so I had to get, and I hired UTA just to do the literary stuff. And Albert Lee, who was be the guy, but he had brought me. He wasn't my agent, but he brought me the Einstein estate, and I did kids' books for them. Then he brought me Muhammad Ali to do a book about Muhammad when he was a kid in Louisville, because his estate, his wife in particular, Lonnie, who went to Vanderbilt too, she wanted to sort of communicate he wasn't a stupid kid. He just had a learning disability. He was always very bright and motivated. And then he brought me Mr. Beast. And he said, would you like to do, because Jimmy would like to do something and you should meet him. So I went up to North Carolina, spent 4 hours with Jimmy, who's Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
And we hit it off great. And they said, let's do a novel. So we did it. It's finished. It's going to come out in, I think, September. It'll be the biggest novel of the year. He has, some people, if they're under 35, they know him. If they're over 35, they probably don't know him. He has 5 times the audience that Taylor Swift has.
Yeah, it's going to open up
970 million fans.
You had your old marketing hat on, because the genius of that is it's going to open up. It's going to open up to such a whole new audience for you.
That's a piece of it. I don't really think that way. I mean, that's always a bonus, but it's really, do I want to do it, especially at this stage?
Yeah,
this isn't my language. Somebody said, which I followed. And I think it's more important for 25-year-olds than it is for me or young guys like you. My time here is short. What can I do most beautifully?
Yeah.
And that's what drives me now. Like, yeah, I'd like to do that. And talking to Jimmy, he is one of the most impressive guys. He's 27.
So what was it about this guy that popped? I mean, because everybody in the world is an influencer.
You just talk to him. You go, his instincts are great. Just the way he talks about everything. He just, the people who like him, why they like him, why they're going to keep liking him, what he's going to do next. He's a brilliant, brilliant guy.
One of your recent things, I think it was last month, your Maryland project, and you believe, I was reading one of your interviews, that you believe she was murdered. You're not the only one in the world.
I think it's more likely, I did the book on Epstein too, that was an interesting thing, because I did that book in 2016. Which was way before this thing broke. It broke in 2018.
19, yeah.
Or 18, 19. The Miami Herald did it. But I went out and I said, this story is unbelievable. I took it myself to CNN. I took it to Fox. I took it to MSNBC. And none of them got it. And you go like, what? How can you not get it? And let's repeat it again. There's a billionaire. He served, I think, 11 months. And I had the police interviews with the young girls when they were young girls, which are devastating. They're in the book, or half a dozen are in the book. And these people that are supposed to do this for a living, they didn't realize what a big story it is. I'm going, seriously? And you have this job and you don't understand that this is huge? I mean, the book did well anyway, but and it just it's a stunning story and continues to be. But I think the better chance, in my own gut, is that he probably did kill himself. Maybe not, but he probably did.
You really think so? I don't know.
I don't know.
You're the thriller guy, but I
lean that way on that one. Suspicious though, a lot of suspicion. How could the alarms? He was on suicide watch.
There was no.
How would nobody?
The cameras were out for 5 minutes.
How could that happen? So there's some. But with Maryland, same thing. A lot of crazy things there. Detective who initially covered it, he said, This doesn't.
He thought it was staged. Everything.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't realize that she was in 11 foster homes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's an interesting book in that what I do is I don't do the usual nonfiction. I just tell story after story after story. And her story. I mean, people like these things about the tragedy of some of these stars. Her story is unbelievable. Yes, 11 foster homes as a kid. Her mother was in a stutter in an asylum. Terrible stutter as a kid. Yeah, absolutely. And then one of the fascinating things about her is all these impressive men it wasn't like they went over there for like 2 hours. They would spend
No.
like a week with her. In
Yeah.
other words, I mean, they wanted to be with her. They didn't. It wasn't just let's go.
What was her power? What was her special superpower?
I just think she's one of those people you just wanted to be with. Just fascinating. Love the way she talked. Love her view of the world. She once you said that this thing about most of the people, movie stars may be accepted at times, and maybe some music people, but most of them are pretty impressive and smart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they just have a super skill, and they're really not that impressive. But an awful lot of them are really, really bright.
The one thing that nobody has been able to clearly explain about Epstein is how, because he was a math teacher, how he got all these guys under a spell. I mean, we've heard things that he would blackmail guys. And
I think a lot of it, he figured out, I think he was a very smart math guy, and he figured out how to make people, how to basically get them to pay almost no taxes. And he kept making more money. Now, what happened after that, who the hell knows, in terms of whether he had film and, whatever,
I don't know. I don't think we'll ever find out. Hey, I want to shift gears. You just did such recently a really interesting interview in Atlantic where you a lot of news you can use, a lot of lessons about life that I thought were really interesting that I wanted to share with our audience. I want to go through them. First one is be confident. And what was interesting in reading the writer's article, he first said to you, hey, I want to hear your tools for success. And you go, well, I don't have any, but I'm just going to tell you what I do. And so let's go into that, guys. So be confident. Be humble.
I never have any advice for people. I just say, here's what I do. You may find some of it useful and you might not. I did master class. It was the same thing. It's pretty good master class. But I said, here's what I do. And the only thing I said about that was that if you're shaking your head yes at it, kind of ignore it because you already do it. If you're shaking your head no, that's the stuff you should think about because you're not doing it. And if you want to get better, you're going to have to change.
This is the first one I would shake my head at. Most of them I wouldn't, because I'm not that clever as you are. But be confident, be humble. I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to be. I am confident, but always tried to be humble at the same time. And that's something you say is very important.
Yeah, well, it's helpful if you're brought up Roman Catholic because they make you humble. They don't necessarily do much for the confident part, but they definitely do the humility part.
How do you stay humble at this point? Your success is so staggering and so grand that how does one stay humble and be James Patterson?
Because I'm not impressed with it.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good. Yeah, I write books. And one of the things which is interesting, we have one son, and trying to get him to be comfortable with, a lot of people know your dad. And he is. You write a lot of books, and that's cool, and that's the end of it. So what?
And people think it's this big.
We're here in Palm Beach, and a lot of people here like to, I ran this bank, or I did. That's great. I'm glad you ran a big bank, but who gives a shit? But
you also said in that
but it's
interview,
good. It's fine. God bless you.
People also said in that interview. You said in that interview that there's this big machine, yet you're just a lonely guy sitting in an office pounding out books. I mean, you're just writing.
I have people I talk to, like Lupic. I talk to Lupic on the phone. We go over pages, and that's pretty much what I'll do. But I love it. Somebody said you're lucky if you find something that you like to do in life, which is true. And then it's a miracle if somebody will pay you to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my deal. I don't work for a living. I play for a living. Obviously don't need to do this now, but I love it.
You love it. No, next one, you said pay attention to process rather than outcomes.
Well, eventually you have to pay attention to the outcomes too. You get fired, as you know. But what's driving the show? What's what makes it work for you? It must be President.
Must be Lupica.
Yeah, it probably is Lupica.
You've also talked about that your inspiration usually comes from just seeing a very little extraordinary moment. Now, it's not some grand thought. It's just a little something you saw somewhere that just was inspiration for you.
Yeah, no, I think I can. I mean, the storytelling thing, it's in my blood. It's always been there. I think growing up, in the country, not having anybody around, and I pretty much write a story about anything. I think at this stage, but so you just get some little thing, a line or something that somebody does. You go, that might be a cool novel. That might be like 109-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay, where am I going to go with that? The thing Mike and I are doing now, it's about a mafia thing right now in the current day, what that would be like in New York. And
What's
it's okay.
what's an example of something that it's just at this point it's a germ. It's not even in development. It's nothing you've done. But I saw this and maybe nothing will come of it. But just in the last week or 2 weeks in life, of
Yeah,
James Patterson,
I'm not good at like getting because the top of my head doesn't exist, so it's just not there. I'll think about it. If something comes up. I'll tell you as we continue.
and
But
tell me about
yeah,
the biscuit theory.
but there's always the what?
The biscuit theory.
I just that has to do really with dealing with people who are in control of your product. So in the advertising day, it was the client or whatever. But nowadays, it's primarily in the book world, it's the publisher. And at a certain point, I just have to say it's biscuits now,
Yeah.
meaning we're done.
You just
We're going to
can't.
move on. Could I keep going? Yeah, we can always keep going. I mean, it's 400 pages. We could rewrite page one to a 400 again. But no, it's good now. It's in a good place. It's just like the ad war. You could sit there rewriting and rewriting and
Yeah.
rewriting. At
Yeah.
a certain point, you just go, no, let's just go shoot the shit. Shoot it.
It's interesting. Along those lines, I used to have a kind of a credo in business that whatever meeting you had, cut it by 3/4, and it'll be just as good, if not better.
No, 100%.
So,
When this has happened to the last two people at Little Brown, and they said, for what it's worth, just one thought about, and I think it's true for a lot of people, especially if you're running a little bit of a business. You keep your list of stuff you have to do. And the first thing you do in the morning, you go in, you look at your list, and you cross off half the stuff.
yeah,
It took you like a minute
yeah,
to like save hours.
hours.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of? I know that's a very open-ended question, but just whatever comes to your mind when I say that.
What am I proud of? I'm proud of the family. I'm really tight. I mean, people like to say that, but my wife and I. My line about Sue, which is accurate. This is kind of ad world, but if Sue ever leaves me, I'm going with her.
Yeah.
And
How long you been together?
28 years.
And as a guy that hasn't gotten it right twice, what makes it work?
I think the key thing is somebody you want to talk to and talk to and talk to. Somebody you want to be with. Somebody that you value the relationship so much that you pull almost every punch.
Wow. That's really well put. I want to shift gears and talk about the podcast. As you loving the podcast?
Yeah.
Hungry Dogs.
I just did Lee Child this morning.
Okay. What do you love about it? What do you love about doing it? Because what I love about it simply is just talking to people like you.
That's exactly why I like it. And I'll do all of them I just did Matthew McConaughey. I thought it would be 40 minutes. It was great. It was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And you know what it's like? It's like back in college when, every once in a while you get together with a couple of friends and you do 2 a.m. and you're talking about God and the universe and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. That's what it was like with Matthew. And it was supposed to be 40 minutes. We went an hour and a half. So we did a 2-parter. On YouTube, I think it's already up to 600,000 people have viewed it.
What was surprising about him? He seems to be a delightful guy. I've never met him, but you get a sense of it.
I think he's a good guy. He's very interesting. He's unique. I read I just was curious about Greenlights. I didn't know that I'd love it, and I thought it was great. He's a totally unique human being. He knows who he is, but he is, once again, he's pretty modest about life. He's really down to earth. He likes everything from poetry to football. Big football fan. University of Texas. He went there.
My daughter just got in. University
really?
of Texas.
Good school. Yeah.
Great.
That's where I used to recruit. When I was in advertising, that's where I used to recruit. They had a really good advertising department. I hired a dozen kids from there, University of Texas.
I want to jog your memory because you brought up advertising, because people who aren't in it don't realize how ridiculous it is and was and always will be. Give me because I have one, your stupidest advertising moment. I don't mean you doing something stupid where you go, this is the most ridiculous business in the world.
Once again, it's hard for me to pull that out of the top of my head. There's so many of them. It does remind me, though, of one of my favorite Hollywood stories. And people just go, this couldn't be, So this guy that I know, he was involved with The Walking Dead early on, before it was a show. And CBS said, we want to do it. We're going to do it. And they're going like, really? No, we know, but we need a younger audience. So we're going to do The Walking Dead. and we get it. We know it's going to be violent, Donna, but we don't care. That's okay. So finally, like 3 years later, it's like they still haven't, and now it's like you got to do it or not. And the head of the CBS guy goes to them. He goes, "Look, I told you we were going to do it. We're going to do it. There's just one change, and it's not we can't negotiate it. No zombies." Isn't that the greatest? But that's in the area of the advertising stories that I can't remember.
That would be. That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Right. We had a show with one of the I won't get into which one, and they had just had a hit. For a while, nobody wanted to do the continuing things, and they got this big hit with every week there was a different. It wasn't a continuing storyline for eight shows. It was every week it was a new thing. So we had this. Actually, it was Mike and I. He wants to kill the streamer. We had the show takes place in Long Island. Jane Smith, and the thing of it is, she gets a death. She gets a cancer thing. She's going to die in like 15 months. So there were 3 books carrying. And I'm not saying what happens at the end, whether she dies or she doesn't die, but she has to die. And over the course of the 3 novels, she deals with 2 big trials, okay, which makes sense. She's a big defense attorney. She's a really cool, interesting person. She's an ex-hockey player. And the thing is, if Jane goes into the corner, she's coming out with the puck. That's the kind of person that she is.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the streamer goes, "Oh, listen, we're going to make a change. Instead of like the 3 years and we're going to cover the 2 trials, we want a trial every week." And we're like, "No, see, like she's a big defense attorney and she's dying. So we have a clock on her. So we can't, it's like Perry Mason, you could go and it's another trial, but you don't know whether it's happening a year later or, but see, like, so we can't do that because they go, "No, you have to do it." I said, "No, see, we can't do that. It's not physically possible." So, like that.
What shows do you love that you've streamed in the last couple of years? Anything jump out at you?
Slow Horses.
I haven't seen it. It's
one,
Gary Oldman, right?
The guy who did Mayor of Easttown just did one. On HBO. Yeah. It's really good. That's
I know.
true.
I know what you're talking. The one with Mark Ruffalo. Task. Yeah.
Yes, Task. Great.
Yeah,
I Friends and Neighbors I liked a lot.
Yeah,
Friends and Neighbors. The one of the executive producers and director. He actually worked for me at Thompson. Great guy. Hired him out of Australia. He was like 24 years old. He was with us for 3 or 4 years. Then went out to Hollywood. He did that skating movie, I, Tonya or whatever.
Yeah,
very good director.
Tonya Harding.
Yeah. He's great. I don't know why that. Who the hell is that? Lupica again. Okay. Leave us alone, Mike. I'm with Donnie right now.
Okay, I want to go. First of all, say hello to Lupica when you pick up the phone. The new book is The Invisible Woman. It's out for the last couple of days. I'm sure, as I said, it's already a #1 Times bestseller. I appreciate your time, man. I've always been such a big fan, starting in the ed business.
That's great. And Hungry Dogs, the podcast. We have fun with it.
Hungry Dogs, the podcast. Who's the next guest?
I don't know what the order is going to be. We've done a lot of. We did Dolly. We did Ellen Hildebrand, Stacey Abrams, Kristen Hanna, S.A. Cosby, B.J. Novak. That was a cool one. Patricia Cornwell. A lot of them. Michael Connolly. Blah blah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Once again, the new book, The Invisible Woman. Go get it.
Thank you, Donnie. I want to see you more on Morning Joe though. Tell them.
I'm going to tell them you said that. Everybody, thanks for watching. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. And we love having you here watching On Brand. And just don't miss any future episodes. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.